Hey friends, it's me, Mr. Rosa. I'm going to do an experiment today. Cash is going to help me out. So we are looking at our different types of rocks.
Candy.
Candy. We're going to be looking at different types of rocks and our rock cycle. We're going to look at sedimentary rock and metamorphic rock. And the last one is, do you remember, Cash? It's the volcano one. Do you remember what it's called? Igneous rock. Igneous rock.
Which comes from lava.
So, for this experiment, you're going to need some sort of a candy. I like using starburst, but you can use jelly beans. You can use Laffy Taffy. Anything that's sticky and anything that you can get multiple colors in. It's always better with multiple colors. You're going to need a heavy board. You're going to need some a Ziploc bag.
I'm guessing this one's the lava one.
Or just some aluminum foil. I like using the Ziploc bag because you can see what's happening. But we will also be using some aluminum foil. And then for our last experiment, it's really important because we are dealing with direct heat to have your parents help you with the last one.
Yeah, and then we're going to try them.
And then we're going to try them, yes. So, we will get to eat some afterwards.
Here you go. Here's some.
So the first thing we want to do is open up our wrappers. So Cash, will you open up these wrappers for me while I grab one more thing?
Yeah.
I almost forgot, my friends. You also need a nice butter knife to cut.
Or
your
a butter. Or just a butter.
Yeah.
Or just a regular knife.
Or just a regular knife if you're careful with it.
Yeah, but butter knives are better.
Yeah. You can also use scissors. We've used scissors before.
I just really want to eat this.
And then we're gonna cut. We're gonna take and cut our starburst into small pieces. Now what this knife for cutting the starburst represents is erosion, taking off pieces of rock from a mountain or from a hill or something you might see. So we're going to take all these sediments and we're going to lay them out. And our board right here that they're laying out on is just taking them downstream or blowing them into a place where they're now resting. So Cash has a red one for me ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and cut this one.
I do still have an orange one.
You do still have an orange one? All right.
I'm looking on the yellow one right now. Here you go. Here's the yellow one. That's all. Can I eat one, Dad?
You can eat them in just a minute.
There's more in this bag.
Okay, well, we'll have some in just a little bit, okay?
Okay.
So be patient. And I would tell you guys to be patient too. So, you can see our sediments are starting to build up. Do you see that, Cash?
Yeah.
These are our sediments of rock that are starting to build up. We're going to use this next one, which is yellow. It'll really help us see the difference. And our last one is orange.
Yep.
Now, some sediments are different sizes, so if they're not all the same size, it's okay, right? Some sediments of rock are bigger, while other sediments are smaller, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to cut them uniform, but try to cut them into little square pieces that can be used. And they're just getting deposited into a resting area. Nice try. So, here's our last one. Now, all of these sediments are going to turn into a solid form in just a minute here. I'll show you how we're going to do this. So last piece, cut this up.
I still have some pieces for you. I have another one, another red.
All right, well, you can eat that other red.
Oh, okay.
So, you can now see
And I have another yellow one right here.
we've got some nice sediment deposit. We're going to put our sediment deposit in our plastic bag. In our Ziploc bag.
Other yellow one?
Not right now. We're going to take and put our sediment deposits into this bag. And we're going to shake it to represent...
My favorite one, these are the red ones.
We're going to shake it. We're going to take our bag, put them all in here, and then we're going to shake it to represent sediments finding a resting place. And if you do it into a corner, that's perfect. Now, you'll see we've got our sediments in a nice resting place here. And what I'm going to have Cash do here, he's going to do this part of the experiment for me. This book is representing some more sediments that come downstream, and some more sediments that come downstream. And eventually there's going to be a whole lot of them. So Cash, will you do me a favor and put all of your weight on that book for me and just lean down on it. Good job. Push it down nice and hard. Okay, that's good. So when we push down nice and hard, we see that you can see that they're all stuck together now. They have become sedimentary rock. And sedimentary rock, you'll see the large chunks in here, but you can see how they're all stuck together into one nice big form of rock. Now, we're going to take this rock and we're going to put it into the corner again where they were resting. And after even more time, they get exposed to heat and pressure. So with heat and pressure, we're going to use the heat from our hands, and we're going to just squeeze our pieces together inside the bag. So can you squeeze them into a ball, Cash? I'm going to open this up so that the air, you just squeeze it really hard into a ball. Good job.
Now
we just keep squeezing, and the heat from our hands is starting to make it soft, but it's not really melting it. Right?
Wait, we're gonna melt them?
So, you can see, when you do this, now all of those candies have become molded together. And if we cut it in half, we'll also see that heat and pressure has created a more densely packed, so you want to move your hand for a second? It's created a more densely packed version, and you can still see all those colors inside of it.
I want to eat one piece.
You can eat one piece. So at this point, I would tell you guys you could eat a piece too. All right, so now for our last piece, I'm going to put this on pause and we're going to move to the stove. You're going to need a piece of aluminum foil or a nonstick pan. I prefer the aluminum foil. It makes a little bit less of a mess. I will see you in just a minute.
That tastes so good.
Does it? All right, friends. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to come over to our stove and we're going to turn our stove onto, let's see, it's the front burner. So we're going to turn it on to about a 4. I don't know what kind of stove you have, but, you know, something where it's going to heat up really nicely. Then Cash, I want you, can you carefully grab one side of the aluminum foil and the other side of the aluminum foil. And then you're going to carefully put it right in the middle of that pan. Just like that. Nice. All right, go ahead. Then we're going to take this, and I am going to push it down with my hands. You can have an adult help you with this. And we're going to just watch what happens. So you can see that our rock is starting to turn to what, Cash?
Magma.
Magma, yeah.
And
Our rock is starting to turn to magma.
And this is how magma gets made.
Melting that rock down. And you can see the top part is still that metamorphic rock, but the bottom is melting all together to create magma.
You can smell that good heat. It smells so refreshing, kids. If some of the kids that's watching this video that likes Cash, just to tell you, this is Cash on the video right now.
That's right. So we're gonna, you can see it's starting to bubble and starting to ooze and starting to melt out.
Oh, if you just wait, Cash.
Careful, that's hot right there.
I'm here.
All right. So we're gonna stop it. And we're gonna take this off of our heat source. Don't touch that because it's still hot. And then you can still see, even after it's off the heat source, it is still very hot. So the important part with this is we want to make sure that it cools all the way down, right?
Make sure you do not touch the stove or the thing because it is really super hot.
That's right. We have to wait till it cools all the way down.
And then we're gonna eat it.
Then we'll eat it. All right, my friends. So after we let it cool, you can see there are some areas on here where it's turned almost to a black. If we would have let it go and burn, that would have really, really helped us see that igneous. But you can see that that part of our rock is harder. It turns into almost a hard and brittle surface.
It tastes like a sucker.
So watch, Cash, go ahead and break that off. Just break it. You can see that it breaks and becomes crystallized. That's because of the cooling of magma in this situation, creating igneous rock. Up here we still have some metamorphic turning into igneous, or turning into magma. As it cools, it becomes an igneous rock. And you can see how we've got just a little bit of toasting.
It tastes just like a sucker.
It tastes better if you let it toast versus letting it burn. But if you really want to see the effect, you can let it go black. And that's how you'll see some of the cool igneous rocks. So that is our rock cycle in candy. Cash, how does our rock cycle taste?
Let's try it. A sucker.
Delicious. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.